So while I was looking for a topic for a video, I came across the fact that Canada just had its biggest drug raid in history in BC. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna read the article. I'm gonna give you my opinion, and I'm gonna go deep into detail with the drug problem in Canada because as much as you hear about America being bad with uh, drug addiction, drug use, fentanyl, and all that stuff, Canada, I would argue, is in a worse situation. But before we get into that, we're gonna read this article. Um, this is from the CBC. Now, I really do not like any of our news outlets in Canada. I really can't think of any mainstream news outlet that I like and trust at this point. We're gonna read this. So, RCMP say they have busted the largest, most sophisticated drug lab in Canada. More than $485 million in illicit drugs and drug ingredients seized in rural BC community. RCMP and BC say they have taken down the largest, most sophisticated drug lab. You said that. The police force says federal investigators focus on combating illicit drug production in Canada, busted the lab, which is believed to be run by a transnational organized crime group involved in the mass production and distribution of fentanyl and methamphetamines across Canada. According to police, the amount of fentanyl and other materials seized would have amounted to more than 95,500,000 potentially lethal doses and worth an estimated 485 million in profit. Good Lord, Dewey. This is the amount of money we're talking about in a small town in BC. The super lab was located in the community of Falkland, BC, an unincorporated community about 50 kilometers east of Kamloops. It really does look like Breaking Bad, says RCMP Inspector Jillian Wellward in an interview with CBC News, referring to the popular television show about a drug manufacturing kingpin. This endeavor is a two-story building with 10 rooms. It's unbelievable. To put in context, the fentanyl seized could have taken the life of every Canadian citizen twice over. That is absurd. What is Canada's population at right now? Canada's population is okay. Well, it's estimated between 30 million and a little over 41 million. And okay, so let's take the high number because we know immigration. 80 million, 82 million people. This operation could have taken the lives of. Dude, it's sad, man. I'm gonna wait until we're further in the video to give my opinion because, I myself, I've never touched anything strong likely, but I've dealt with addiction. I've been around people with addiction, and especially where I live, fentanyl and drugs like these are rampant, dude. Rampant, and it's brutal because the system is designed to not help these people, but basically make them lifelong customers to whatever um, drugs they choose to take in. Um, Details of the seizure were shared Thursday afternoon in Surrey, BC by Assistant Commissioner Dave Thibault, commander of RCMP Federal Policing Program in BC and Yukon. In a written statement, Thibault called seizure unprecedented in Canada and Canadian policing. The Mountie said the bust is a decisive blow to those who organized it, and that in addition to the facility in Falkland, several locations in Surrey were also searched. The announcement follows a report on Wednesday from RCMP announcing charges had been approved against 19 people involved in the illicit drug trade in northeast BC. It also comes following a CBC investigation showing that Canada was being used by criminal organizations to ship drugs into Australia where they can fetch a higher street price. Willard said while she wasn't able to disclose where the drugs were headed, she could say they were not meant for the United States. We've seen a concerning trend in terms of exploration in Canada, she said. Aside from the drugs, which include 54 kilograms of fentanyl, 390 kilograms of methamphetamine, and 35 kilograms of cocaine, police also seized 89 firearms, several small explosives, body armor, and $500,000 cash. Police say the site was being used to prepare multiple drugs for export, including fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine. These are the primary drugs that we are finding where I'm from, particularly. Police say several shipments of drugs destined for international export were also stopped, and one person has been arrested and charged and is currently in custody. Over 30,000 kilograms of chemicals designated for drug production seized in BC. 30,000 kilograms. They say the lab, and they're just saying that. Wellward said the cost of cleaning up the lab will be more than $500,000, describing drums and drums of chemicals that had been left behind. It's a huge lift, she said. Right? Like, dude. So this is their entire operation, I think, this is only one of them, right? And, you can look at this a couple ways. One, they're finally doing something about these illegal drugs that have really destroyed Canada, especially over the last 4 years, and that drug dependency went through the roof, and you can blame a lot of things, right? You can blame the individual, you can blame the government, you can point out the fact that the only stores that were open at that point were, weed stores and liquor stores, which are the least healthiest things in a pandemic. They shut down all the gyms. Stores had maximum amounts of people they can have. Some people couldn't even go to the stores. But, again, in Canada's case, we've had the same government for 10 years. The provincial, the local government, they change in and out, but for the most part, the same parties run the show, and you know how politicians are. they go with the party. They're only loyal to their party, and they're only loyal to the dollar sign. But it's again, I don't know what to think about it. I'm glad that they're finally going after these things now, but it honestly looks like they're just doing it right before the election because they don't want Polyev in. I again though similar to Kamala Harris in the states. I don't know how you can look at the Liberal Party and be like, you know what, we're moving in a direction here. We're going somewhere. And like, I recently moved out. I'm recently learning the tough realities of the world of, managing my money and shit and, worrying about rent and groceries and all that shit. It's, it's insane. And like, the money seized here, you could have families. And I go back to the point where there was enough fentanyl to kill our population twice over, right? Twice over. And, like, especially in my generation, the younger Gen Zs, the millennials even, like, because of how bad the economy is, because of how much media is shoved in your face, and all of these major news stories breaking, and all the division and everywhere, like, drug dependency has gone up insane amounts, insane amounts. Like, and it's worse than it was before the war on drugs. It's the war on drugs. Again, they were mainly going after pot, really like marijuana, which, you know, I myself, I've had my struggles with marijuana. That I took too much. I had a few psychotic episodes, but like when you're talking about something like fentanyl, something like methamphetamines, these are things you can't just drop them. Like it's easy to again it's up to your willpower that it's easy to drop marijuana. It is not easy to drop any kind of amphetamine, any kind of prescription, non-prescription. Like I've had people in my life that dealt with, pill popping addiction. They've dealt with meth addiction and all these things, and it's a different animal. And it's something that I find that both sides are completely wrong about when they look at the situation, because addiction is something where if you haven't had it, you don't really have a place to talk to, because it's not as simple as willpower. It's not as simple as just not doing it. It is a demon above your head, and when I hear most of these conservatives and that who have never gone through drug addiction in particular. We can talk about food addiction. We can talk about social media addiction, which is another topic I want to make a video on. But like, I don't know, man. It's when it comes to like these kinds of drugs, like you might pick them up at a party, you might pick them up on the street. No matter how you get into it, it's like most of these people, especially if you have the addict trait, which because of social media, I feel like everybody in the world does. Um, like it's difficult to quit, and it is really a matter of that person is the only person that can prove to themselves that some oh no, I shaved horribly wrong, but like it's something that like really does not get the right attention it needs. It doesn't get the right response it needs. But I don't know. I'm happy this facility was taken down along with a few others. Let me know in the comments though. What do you think about this facility taken down? Majority of you guys are from Canada. I think it's something like 85% of you that watch it. So I'm assuming, you guys have, many of you may have had issues with your own addictions, family members, whatever. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And what do you guys think about the direction Canada is heading? I know I've made a lot of videos on America, and I do that because I think America America is their own country, but culturally the world is American, if that makes sense. We get all of our media from America. We get most of our resources from America. But yeah, let me know what you think. This video, like majority of my other videos, will probably be suppressed. Thanks for watching. Later.